Utani penda na mtoto wangu. Those were Jacqueline's words as she asked her new lover if he was ready to love her with her baby. For some time now, there has been a contested debate on whether the decision to invest in a woman's education while still dating is a smart idea. Because education is the key to better life, or so they say, it often feels the right thing to do when a woman you are dating is somehow not achieving to greater heights because she was unable to attain higher education. Since providing is a natural instinct to men, most jump at the opportunity to help this damsel in distress with the hope that they will build a life together after graduation. But good intentions are oftentimes not reciprocated, but rather the good-hearted chaps are taken for granted. But when a young Kenyan man sells his inheritance to take his woman to university with hopes to build a better life with her, he did not expect the betrayal he got in return. His decision to end it all sent mixed reactions in the public, with some blaming the woman for causing her own death. Welcome back to Tavern Crime Chronicles. We explore strange, mysterious, chilling, solved and unsolved cases. If you have the nerve for fascinating stories, this is your channel. We approach our cases with empathy and extensive research, and if you appreciate our true crime storytelling, kindly support us by subscribing. Thank you. Today's story takes us to Nyeri County in the central region of Kenya. With a population of about 800,000 people who are predominantly Kikuyu, Nyeri covers an area of 3,325 square kilometers and is located on the southwest flank of Mount Kenya. Formed in 2013, Nyeri also prides itself in being the home county of Mwai Kibaki, the late president of Kenya. And in this beautiful land in the Kenya highlands, a murder plot evolved. Unnoticed by netizens on social media, till one hopeless man decided to leave his child an orphan after continuous betrayal and infidelity from his wife. This is the story of Evans Kosgei. Born in Gishu County, Evans had a normal childhood growing up with his family in Western Kenya. He maneuvered the challenges of growing up in the village and making sure he achieves an education. After primary education, he was admitted to Kimoning Boys in USC, Gishu County, for his secondary education. And while school comes with its own challenges, so does adolescence. And just like most boys his age, Evans would meet a young girl in 2016, Jacqueline Jimitai Kamayo, whom he fell in love with. Jacqueline, too, was in secondary school studying in Anim Girls in Elgeyo Marakwet. Despite the distance between their schools, they would often meet, and their love quickly blossomed. And just like a forbidden fruit, they couldn't stay away from each other, despite a warning Jacqueline's parents. And like two lovers on fire, they didn't hold back their urges and longing for each other, and often met against their parents' wishes. This full-blown love affair would erupt one day, and the two lovebirds engaged in sexual intimacy. One day in September 2018, Jacqueline woke up not feeling like herself, and all signs unfortunately pointed to pregnancy. In most African cultures, getting pregnant out of wedlock is taboo and creates so much shame and mockery even for the entire family. Amidst fear and confusion, she decided not to tell anyone, but of course that did not last long, because just like character, pregnancy cannot be hidden forever. Jacqueline's parents were immensely disappointed in her, and her father actually disowned her, asking her to leave and never to return. Carrying her few belongings on her back, Jacqueline shamefully left for her boyfriend's home to a future unknown. Amidst tears, Jacqueline told Evans their predicament, and it was then that he knew he had to man up because he was soon going to be a father. He dropped out of school and opted to find something that could earn him a living so that he could be able to fend for his now growing young family. Evans took up a job as a security guard, and with his small earnings, he was able to provide for Jacqueline till she delivered. And they both welcomed a beautiful baby girl who became the light at the end of a dark tunnel. Evans was determined to be the man and husband that Jacqueline expected him to be, and he asked her to be his wife. It was more like a decision they made, because Jacqueline's family had not only rejected her, but also did not want anything to do with Evans, the man she had chosen. So they vehemently refused any bride price from his family. And now that a baby was in the picture, Evans and Jacqueline decided to be husband and wife. Education is one way to a better life, and Evans knew better than to let his wife Jacqueline stay home without completing her education. His small salary from the night watchman job could not be able to sustain him and his growing family. Evans had an inheritance of livestock and a piece of land with trees. He sold the sheep and ferried the tress for sale so that he could raise tuition fees for Jacqueline, and off she went to Moringa University to pursue a bachelor's degree in education. Evans's determination to make a life for them did not wither even amidst different challenges. He used to work at night as a security guard and come home to take care of their baby as Jacqueline goes to school to study. Their day-to-day life went on smoothly without any problem, he said, as they were a young couple in love, growing together. She graduated with a bachelor's degree a year after her classmates due to missing marks, and found a job as a teacher almost immediately. What a joy it was, especially for Evans, whose efforts and sacrifices were finally paying off. However, the happiness was short-lived, as it was later on, during the start of the year 2024 in early January, that Evans started to notice changes in his wife, and he knew that something was amiss. Evans had got a new job in Tika Town, and thus had to move away from home and relocated to Waititi for a while, and would come home during the weekends. They say distance makes the heart grow fonder, but that was not the case for Evans and Jacqueline's relationship, for they started losing touch with each other, and love faded. At least that was it for Jacqueline. Evans noticed changes in her behavior, and on further investigation, he discovered that his wife was having an affair with 2 other men, and it was serious with a one, Shadrach Kiprop. Amid his shock and betrayal, Evans confronted Jacqueline and asked her to stop their behavior for the good of their relationship. Jacqueline seemed not to listen and took Evans' pleas for granted, for she continued to see the said man. In utter desperation, like the jilted man that he was, Evans installed a tracking device on Jacqueline's phone, and he could view everything she did, who she called, texted, or even sent a WhatsApp text in real time. Jacqueline's phone activities revealed everything and were killing him softly. Amidst anger and desperation, Evans Kosgei wrestled with the stormy seas that was now his life's predicament, and he decided to share his grievances with the world on X, a social media platform. A declaration of sheer disappointment and betrayal was expressed in Evans' words as he called out his wife to stop what she was doing and come back home. To add salt to injury, he had discovered that his wife had reconciled with her family after graduation, and that actually her father was in support of her new relationship. Shadrach often gave her father money, and they had in fact encouraged him to come pay her bride price so that she could leave Evans. Jacqueline's parents had never accepted her Evans, and they never failed to show it. Evans felt hopeless as he saw his life being ripped apart in front of his eyes through tapping messages on his wife's phone. In his ominous declaration of intent to end the life of his partner, Evans posted on X and even tagged different big names like the DCI, District Chief of Investigations, and Citizen TV, but no one took notice of him or even gave his tweets the attention of day. Evans was crying for help inside as he asked men never to take back a cheating wife. He implored ladies to stop being stupid because they are the reason they were being murdered in Airbnb apartments and other locations, as was the most recent 2024 murder cases in Kenya. Choices have consequences, He said one day after he had discovered that Jacqueline had gone away with Shadrach for a weekend during the short-term break and even switched off her phone. She would later come back on Sunday evening, and Evans knew that enough is enough. He had been patient and even asked her to recount her deeds and get back home, but that was not happening. He had to end it all and count his losses, for he had invested so much in her. Evans' posts revealed a man in despair and frustration asking for help, but unfortunately no one listened or took his threat seriously. It could have been the fact that his social media following was quite small, thus no one noticed. But on that Sunday night after his wife came home, he turned his threats into reality, ending it all. And Jacqueline breathed her last. When someone is found to have been murdered, their partner is always the first suspect, and Evans's case was not any different. Reports began to circulate, providing chilling details of the gruesome act where he mercilessly took Jacqueline's life. "Bye. We will meet soon" was his last post on social media before he went into hiding. This was followed by a whirlwind of posts about how mentally disturbed he was by the pain that Jacqueline had put him through. Theirs was meant to be a love story, for he loved her. But unfortunately, she loved another and listened to the bad advice of her parents. Before the police could make sense of the case and get a hold of him, Evans Kosgei's body was found dangling from a tree with a rope around his neck on Monday, March 11th, with a suicide note indicating he was responsible for Jacqueline's death. Not your usual Shakespearean Romeo and Juliet, but Evans loved his Jacqueline, who selfishly did not take notice of his sacrifice to educate her, but was ready to leave him at the first man that approached her. Due to a love stolen by a man who wanted to reap where he did not sow, 2 young lives were lost, and sadly a young orphan girl was left behind. "Choices have consequences," he said. And this here sums up the tragic story of Evans and his love Jacqueline. Tell me, what do you learn from this story? I, for one, think we ought to think before we leap. Although nothing should ever make you murder anyone, Evans was a young man dealt a hard blow by his first love, and unfortunately, not everyone knows how to deal with betrayal. It's upon each one of us to avoid trouble, as we cannot control the actions of others. Do unto your neighbor exactly what you would like to be done to you. Most have chosen to massage the female gender, but I choose to differ. I say choose to do the right thing, and if not, take accountability for your actions. We grieve with the families for the young lives lost. Well, thank you for watching, and see you next time.